Hello and welcome to our show. My name is João Fernandes, founder and CEO of DocDigitizer, and I will be your host for today's episode of Automation Notes. Brought to you by DocDigitizer, the Automation Notes podcast is a collection of new and inspiring insights about intelligent automation, where we will share and discuss with our guests the most recent trends, success stories, and promising projects in intelligent automation. Today we have an amazing guest, Ricardo Alqueidão, an automation center manager at Worten. And I know that Ricardo just very recently moved to this role. So I thank you for taking the time, because I would say that the first month or 2 months on a new role, it's always overwhelming. So thank you very much for being on the show.
Hello, João, and everyone who is listening to this podcast. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Ricardo Alqueidão. As you mentioned, I'm 32 years old. My background is from informatics, basically computer engineering, and I'm currently doing a post specialization in enterprise data science and analytics at Nova EMS. I have a lot of experience in the process automation or intelligent automation field. I started working with this type of technologies in 2017, and I have a deep interest and experience in this landscape. As part of digital initiatives, I've been fortunate to lead amazing teams to digitalize, simplify, and improve the way organizations work, establishing and growing reliable automation programs. So I'm very happy to start this talk and discuss some lessons learned and best practice with everyone.
Awesome. Really amazing background. And I must say that you are also pretty much active on LinkedIn. So if our audience wants to get some insights and follow some of the trends in intelligent automation, just follow Ricardo. Is very active on LinkedIn and always sharing some amazing insights and refreshing content. I know that you recently joined Worten. So for people that don't know Worten, can you share a little bit about what is Worten, and now is intelligent automation seen by Worten, and what do you think will be your main challenge in this new role as automation manager?
Yes, of course. Basically, Worten is an electronic retail company. We are leaders in Portugal. We also have a presence in Spain and other countries. Basically, I joined Worten in April, and automation is sponsored by the Executive Commission, and is a strategic move for Worten to maximize the organization efficiency and free its employees from the robotic work, manual and heavy process. And we are setting our automation center, like I said in the beginning, to simplify, automate, and improve our business process and customer and employee experience. Worten understood the full potential of automation to create new and better ways of working and give time back to business so they can focus on the future and not the daily and monotonous tasks, like generating new revenue streams, innovation, and more important, the continuous improvement of business. At the same time, automation is seen as a driver to accelerate the digital journey and create new opportunities through reskilling initiatives. Everybody who works with automation know that we have a lot of challenge. At Worten, we are setting our automation center by aligning early with our IT teams, because we want to do things by the book, and we are just starting, and we have a lot of ambition goals to go after.
Awesome. You mentioned give time back to business. I think that is one very nice way of putting things. And when we talk about automation efficiency, also getting people to do meaningful tasks. But at the same time, it's really that it's give time back to business and to focus on your core business and not on these tedious tasks. I know that you have a lot of previous experience in automation center of excellences, which is a pretty new concept, I would say. It comes with the maturity of the space itself. So can you share with our audience what is an automation center of excellence and why is it relevant?
Yes, that's a great question. And firstly, I prefer the term automation center and not automation COE or RPA COE, because the COE term is often misunderstood by business teams and can also help in creating a distance that we should avoid. Basically, an automation center is the glue between people, process, and the technology, in this order. This type of team should be agnostic to technology, but must have deeper technological knowledge to be able to integrate several different tools and define and monitor best practice. An automation center is a centralized structure within the organization that provides high quality automation service to meet the enterprise's strategic objectives, develop and maintains a catalog of reusable components, standards, best practice, and lessons learned that will enable business teams to be successful and engage with automation. This team, like we have been discussing, their focus is on improving the quality of business process, standardizing executions and procedures, and explore new tools and adopt new methodologies to improve daily operations. I think it's important to say that these type of teams should not just automate for the sake of automate. Just because we can automate a business process or a task, it does not mean we should. So most of the time we have opportunities to also improve our process, and that should be addressed before starting to develop solutions. And this is an important mindset shift, because without it, you will always just automate things as is and not take the chance to actually improve things.
Exactly, and automation, I would say that it's an opportunity to not to speed up things as they are, but also to transform business, to transform the process itself, and it's always a balance, because if you want some quick wins, then you deploy automation over the as is, and it will work a little bit. It will improve, of course, the status quo. But if you want to really mature on automation and have automation as an enabler for your business, you should always rethink the processes, rethink the business, rethink the stakeholders, rethink the way you are doing things before you automate. I fully agree with you, and I would say that probably that is one of the reasons why on a long term most automation strategies or projects failed. And we had a guest very recently on our show that stated that 80% on average, 80% of the RPA projects don't move beyond pilots. So why do you think that this happens, and what advice can you give to organizations that aim at investing in intelligent automation, but fail on moving forward from tactical to strategic?
Yes, that's another great question. I would say that there are several studies that show that scaling an RPA initiative is way more difficult and costly than many expect. Unfortunately, few RPA projects advance beyond the pilot stage, and the majority of organizations implementing RPA have fewer than 10 bots in in live environments. So something is clearly wrong. And I will also add that while automation adoption is inevitable, automation success is not. So one key aspect for me is that people managing RPA like a tech project is not the best approach to achieve great results and scale this type of programs. RPA and automation, they are about business and not the technology part. On another hand, we need leaders with tech skills to grow these initiatives and move beyond RPA. RPA is not a silver bullet and has some limitations, and because of that, it should be used within a technological ecosystem. With this approach, RPA becomes a far more intelligent tool. Additionally, I think organizations should not buy nor sell the everybody can be an RPA developer message. Although I agree with everybody can build an RPA solution, building a robust and scalable RPA process, it's not for everyone and it's far from easy. If you don't develop by the book with proper exception handling, work queues, so you can have several machines running the same process with a modular approach, so you can use blocks that you are already developed for another process, you will end up as a robotic operations center that only does support and maintenance and no development. These type of issues are often caused by poor developments and non-complete functional analysis. And I have some bad news. They will continue to grow until you realize you are wasting more time fixing bugs and errors than developing solutions. The RPA teams should standardize all their developments with a unique template. Basically, every developer should develop the same way. For example, if you are using UiPath, I would say that UiPath key framework is mandatory in all new developments. Furthermore, the RPA project does not end with the go live. After that moment, you have one more process to maintain and monitor, and you should adopt a proactive and continuous improvement approach to facilitate the support of these type of solutions and even improve your daily operations. Just to finish these great questions, it's not normal to have automated solutions throwing errors on a daily or weekly basis. And if that is happening frequently, then I would say that you have a red flag that you should address quickly. It is even more worrying when the process throws an error and no one can figure it out what was the error and how to fix it, even the developer who made the solution. So this means seriously problems in your developments. I can share some tips. Don't assume. If you don't know or you are not sure, ask and clarify with the business. Standardize all of your developments. The vast majority of automation are being poorly built. So it's also very important that your developers clearly understand the process they are about to automate. You can, for example, ask them to execute the process manually 1 or 2 times just to guarantee that they understood what they should do. And finally, the to-be model should be done by developers. I've seen some business analysts doing all the PDD documents, even the solution, but or your business analysts have a deep RPA development experience, or they should not does the solution design, and maybe you should ask the developers to do it.
Exactly. And RPA, and we covered this on the last episodes. It's like this bridge technology because it is a technology, but at some time it is something that lives on the process, lives on the business, which raises a lot of challenges because you think about technology, you think about IT, and the people from IT are very good in setting up and deploying technology. But if the technology is very linked to the business, to the process, then it starts to be very challenging for the IT because they are not used to live on the process, understand the processes. At the same time, if you move to cities and development programs, and we will cover this on also on this episode, those guys there are very into the process, but less into the technology, which also raises a lot of challenges regarding to building legacy and bugs and not reusing and not thinking about the architecture. So intelligent automation is in the middle, and that is why sometimes projects fails because of the lack of communication and share knowledge between projects, processes, business, and technology. So RPA and humans, so that they are now forced to collaborate in a way, sometimes in a more meaningful way. Sometimes they don't collaborate at all. But that is the main goal, is to have robots and humans collaborating. But most people think automation is replacing humans. So how do you see this space for collaboration between robots and humans? Is there a space?
Yes, there are a lot of space. And like you said in the previous topic, RPA is business driven, but is IT governance. So when we are talking about robots and humans, we need to have this clear in our daily basis. Regarding this type of workforce or hybrid workforce where robots and humans are working together, one of the greatest benefits of automation and RPA is clearly this, the capacity to build and grow an hybrid workforce where humans and robots are working side by side to improve efficiency and business days. So everybody's dreams is to have their people focus on the intelligent work, which involves innovation, the creativity, and all of these type of tasks. And your robots or the digital workforce deals with all the robotic work. And it's great when you see robots sending work back to humans so they can validate exceptions, and humans sending work to RPA bots to execution in a structured and governed way. More and more, I realize that people are not only wanting to perform a task or a project, but they want to be part of something. For this reason, it's very important and necessary to create a context of value where people want to be and feel as part of. People no more can be considered as just a piece in the process. We must remember that we are building robots, we are not robots. So we need to take this with careful, this type of projects. We need to communicate early and clearly, because in the end of the day, we are not here to dismiss people. We are here to augment them. And this is an important message that if you can achieve it and guarantee that is being clearly explained, you will have all business teams in your side wanting automation and help you scaling.
Yeah, and this idea of augmenting humans is very powerful, and we must say that there are tasks where software is much better at doing that the human, and the other way around. So why not have both? Why not have this kind of human augmentation where the virtual workforce balance between humans and robots, both doing what they do best? In fact, at DocDigitizer, we are, I think we are doing something very interesting on that aspect, because we are having software orchestrating humans, which is like the other way around, because the orchestration in very specific tasks is much more efficient if it is done by a software, and I'm a robot or software will be the same thing, than having humans doing this. So it's like a new world where we can have very different approaches to this, and at the end of the day, what we want is exactly that. And our mission at DocDigitizer is exactly unburden people from robotic work. So that should be a motto for every single organization, because now they have the tools to do it. I know that you are passionate, and we touched this on the previous questions. I know that you are passionate about citizen development programs. You mentioned that you are also a skeptic in a way. But are these programs an enabler for reskilling the workforce? So how do you see this fitting this robot and human interaction, and also in terms of governance? How do you see this happening on our organizations?
Definitely. RPA and low-code tools are allowing us to reskill our human workforce. I can give you some examples of some things that we implemented, because as we all know, there is a gigantic lack of specialized resources in the market. So we need to be we need to have some creativity to find resources and train them and help them become good RPA developers. So due to this lack of resources in NOS, we ended up going to operations areas, call center, back office. We interviewed a lot of people that were interested in becoming an RPA developer, and all of our 7 developers, they came from business. So
Amazing.
we kind of integrate the knowledge and the process knowledge, the knowledge about the organization they had, and we complement it with tech skills in RPA development. And I can share with you that we had amazing results, and those people that never developed anything, they became some great developers, delivering solutions very, very complex, like some process with credits, process with documentation, and we are talking about robust solutions that were dealing with 5,000 cases per month, solutions that were being executed in 7, 8, 10 machines at the same time. So it's possible, guys, it's possible, and I highly recommend you to take advantage of automation to also reskill your people and give them opportunities to have a new career path, and most importantly, they can grow and expect to improve their their days and their daily tasks. So it's great, and they have all that you need to deliver this type of projects with all the success you need.
Amazing, and it's also an opportunity to have evangelists on the organization that also know how to speak with the operational areas, which is sometimes difficult for the IT people to talk with business people. So you have the best of the both. And I would say that it's really amazing, and it should be a path to go on enterprises that are reaching maturity, that are struggling to find resources to grow this initiative. So why not go to the teams that they have and reskill those people and make them a part of the solution.
Please,
Please.
João, just to complement what you said, because it was perfect. I would say better. But in the end of the day, you just need to find this type of people that are very curious. They like the technology part. They explore. They are proactive. This type of profile, if they already did something in Microsoft Power BI or VBA macros, the transition is very smoothly. So I would highly recommend this type of reskilling initiatives. But we are not only talking about RPA developments. We are talking about business analysts. We are talking about bot controllers, people who are watching the bots. So we are creating a lot of new jobs, and I even remember in 2018 there were a massive fear of automation and RPA. They are going to take our jobs, but the truth is, from what I am seeing, we are even creating more jobs that displacing. So this fear is not concrete, and we should address it with a clear message to everyone.
So now we have people developing robots. We have robots and humans interacting and collaborating, and we are increasing the number of robots and also distributing the power to create new robots. So this must and also one thing that is very important: we have robots that are created, and there are robots that are dying. So who is watching all of this? Who is watching these robots?
Yeah, I think this is a challenging topic, and this is one of the reasons for RPA program and automation teams not scaling as they want, or having problems in developing new solutions. So when we are talking about automation, we need to be clearly in our heads that this is not just about developing and delivering an automation solution. After you complete the development, you need to ensure support and service operations, and this is essential so you can grow and continue to improve your program. So there is no value if you deliver an automation solution that is frequently throwing errors with no feedback to business nor support from a dedicated team. At NOS, for example, we had a dedicated team to monitor all the automations, and we even had the 24/7 support, because this team were working in supporting not just RPA but every application in the ecosystem, and we were fortunate to be included. But typically, most organizations do not have this type of dedicated team, so they need to find a solution, and this is not easy. Typically, in smaller teams, you have only one team which is developing solutions, doing some maintenance, and even executing and monitor bots. This is not scalable. You will end up with problems sooner or later, and you clearly need to segregate these functions. So basically, you need at least a person to support and monitors and act as a first level support for all the automations and all your solutions. You will have some problems if an application changes and your bot is using it. It will throw an error, but you need to have best practice in place so you can quickly know what happened and why.
And fix it.
Yeah, and this is pretty in line with how you develop your solutions. If you don't have this type of things in your mind, and your developers are not planning this type of events, you will have many difficulties to have an efficient SLA and a response to business teams, and they will lose faith and confidence in automation, and they won't be back. So this is very, very important, because when you automate something, business is expecting 90% of success rate, or even
Or
higher.
even more. Yeah.
So you really need to be careful with your developments, and most important, the support that you will provide after finishing the development of your process.
It doesn't end with the deployment. It starts with the deployment, which
Yeah.
is also a fantastic way of seeing things. So we are about to close our episode, but before closing, I always like to ask the guests to share some book, podcast, or person to follow, so our audience can know more about intelligent automation. So what are your suggestions on this?
Yes, I would say that we are seeing a transition from RPA COEs to automation center or automation COEs. This is already happening, and the organizations who most prepare, they are already integrated RPA with intelligent document processing, chatbots, AI, and process mining, etc. And I think this integration path will continue to evolve and integrate more and more tools. Also, there are organizations that are not sure in spending time and money to build a center of excellence or automation center, because they think that the automation journey will eventually end, and then what shall they do with the COE resources? I would like to answer to that question, because I think this is not a problem, because you will end up with a team who clearly understands business and some technical domains during all the projects that they are starting and finishing, and they are collaborating from close with IT and business teams. So imagine that you have a developer who understands the customer services process, the accounting process. You have, and this is not common. It's very rare. You have people that are understanding process and the technical part, and you are building this team and you are growing. So in the future, you will easily adopt new digital initiatives in this dynamic market. This team can also be the foundation of new digital and automation initiatives, such as AI, IDP, and many others that we were discussing today. And it is not possible to build a team for every new tool that appears in the market. So this team is for now and for the future. And I think we will see more and more automation teams with executive sponsorship and more autonomy. But like any other business improvement initiative and transformation, these type of programs need fast and a sustainable ROI to keep growing until it is incorporated in the organization DNA. I think this is the dream of everyone, not to have a centralized team delivering solutions, but having business teams with autonomy in building and maintaining their own solutions. So this is our dream at Worten, and we are starting our journey to achieve it.
Amazing, and you touched very briefly, but it's very important for our audience to know that the toolkit of intelligent automation is going far beyond RPA by itself, which also raises a lot of challenges, because projects are becoming more complex. There's a lot of technologies available to plug and play with RPA. And that must be also a challenge when we are thinking about the automation centers, and also the citizen development programs, how to make people use this in an efficient way. Amazing insights, Ricardo. Hosting this episode was really a pleasure to me. I think you brought a lot of insights to our audience. So thanks again for taking the time on such a busy schedule that you must have for being on our show. Thank you very much, Ricardo.
Thank you, John.
Before we close, and if you are looking for intelligent document processing or aiming to parse through a wide range of unstructured data, content like photos, documents, emails, and if you are somehow tired of these very complex tools, that force you to do very complex processes, to deploy, to set up, to train models, to define layout by layout parsers, and still end up with low data accuracy, visit our website, docdigitizer.com, and subscribe to a license. Find out how you can deploy very fast, 100% accurate IDP platform with an all-inclusive approach, meaning that on a single API, you'll be able to send any document, any layout, without any setup, and get 100% accurate data. So we take care of the setup, we take care of the data extraction, we take care of the data validation, everything in an all-inclusive API. If you are hearing this podcast, there is a prize. So you can put Automation Notes 10 code and get 10% off on any DocDigitizer subscription. This is a small prize for our audience. So to stay up to date with the latest intelligent automation trends, success stories, and promising projects, make sure you like and subscribe Automation Notes on DocDigitizer social networks. You can find us on YouTube, you can find us on LinkedIn, you can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Anchor, and many other podcast platforms. I have been your host, João Fernandes, and this has been Automation Notes.